Chapter 16. Do you know who she is? Stella Grady worked in the hospital morgue in a bigger town near Utica. It was her day off, and she was kind enough to scalp to Greenberry to act as a coroner. She was tall and big boned, with short dark hair, dark eyes, and a square chin. She was wearing a heavy coat with the big boots, the soles encased in blue shoes covering to prevent contamination. Underneath she had on blue scrubs. She was in a crouch. I believe she was Katrina Belford, but I have to get her ID by someone who knows her. Decker said Belford is a professor at Neat Loft. She didn't show up for work today, and that's unusual. I hope someone can identify her. There's been lots of animal activity all over her body, and the head's a mess. I'll pass it around, and the least gruesome postmortem face I have. I like to at least put it on what's left of the neck and torso so it doesn't look so awful. We have a gun. Do you have a gunshot wound? We've got a large crater here. Stella handled the head delicately. Someone blew out the back of the skull like a short-range shotgun from a Ruger. Very possibly. She regarded the gun in the bag. I have to examine this more closely, but I get a feeling that something else was at play besides a single gunshot wound. So you're not thinking suicide? Not sure what it is yet, detective. This could have been one well-placed bullet, but the occiput is an odd area to shoot yourself. It can be done, but it would be an awkward hand position. What about the gun? You saw it in situ. Did it look like it was dropped from a suicidal hand? Decker regarded the crime scene. It was almost buried in dead foliage, like it sank under. I have to think about it. There have been so many disturbances at the scene from animals that I haven't a clue what was the original position of the gun. Any estimated time of death? I obviously can't use the liver. Whatever is left over is frozen. Normally it takes a while for the entire body to drop to these kinds of low temperatures, but because she's in bits and pieces, everything would be sped up. She stood up, judging by the torso and the amount of fresh flesh, maybe last night to early morning. Thanks, that's a start. Can we start gathering up the remains? It's going to take time to transport the body parts down the hill and into the van. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Decker turned to McAdams, who was taking photographs on his iPad. Yo, Harvard. The kid looked up. You haven't called me that in a while. I smiled. Perhaps the moniker means you want my professional help. Decker smiled back. This is the plan. I'm going to stay up here with forensics. I'll need a couple of people to canvass the area. Maybe someone saw or heard something last night. I can do that. I've got Karen and Kevin on it. I have another assignment for you. That'll be equally time-consuming. So you tell me if you want in. Of course I want in. We've got a genuine crime. I pause. This isn't suicide, right? Nothing's been ruled out yet, but to me it looks staged to look like a suicide. The gun, the nude body in the woods with the clothes around. Elijah Wolf, exactly. So maybe we should take a second look at his death. We will, but only after we've taken a first look at Katrina's death. We've only seen her once. I like another ID. If you have a decent shot of her face on your iPad, I've got plenty of headshots, no pun intended. I need you to take the best ones you have, go to Neat Off and get her identified by true sources who knew her better than we did. I suggest Farrago and Rosa since we've talked to them recently. The head isn't attached to her body. It's really gross. We're going to put it back on the neck and put a scarf around it so we don't make people sick. And while you're at Neat Loft, find out where Rosa and Farrago were last night. What about Dean Zhao? McAdams said. She was eager to get her hands on Elijah Wolf's papers. Right, get her alibi. Belfort also had students, Butcher and Weisberg and Mellon. Talk to them as well. We know where Mellon was. After 3 a.m. we know where she was between 10 and 3. She said she was at Pascal Library. Go see if you can get people to place her at the library during the entire time. She said she was there. We have someone sneaking into her room around midnight. Maybe it was Mellon slipping back into her room to change bloody clothing. McAdams nodded. And if no one can vouch for her, then she's a suspect. We need to find out about Belfort, her relationship to her students and colleagues, her personal relationships. Did she have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or was she having trouble with anyone specific? What about Theo Rosa? He hated her. He didn't say anything against her. It was more like she hated him. That's why he's on the suspect list. I also want to know if she's in debt. Was she doing something dishonest? Did she have any bad debts? And lastly, is there an egg somewhere? We're treating this as a murder, not a suicide. It's a very, very suspicious death. I'll be here at least a couple of hours, so you've got some time. Come back to Karina's house at around 3:30 and we'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb. If you get hung up with something, leave a message on my phone. I don't have reception here, but I'll pick the messages up when I'm back in civilization. Got it. I'm hoping you're still planning to leave tomorrow, Tyler. Unfortunately for everyone, this throws a big wrench in my time schedule. I may not be able to drive you up because I might not get to Eli's house until Thursday. What about Gold? All right. You can take the papers up to him when you go back. I just won't be able to come with you. Or we could both see Gold on Thursday. The way things are going, Harvard, that's a big if. You really need to get back to your former life. When McAdams didn't answer, Decker said, Am I talking to deaf ears? What? McAdams quipped. Very funny. I'll be fine. Just make sure I don't get shot again. This is not going to happen. Then I'm a happy camper. I'll see you at Bearford's house around 3:30. Sounds good. By then the light will be fading and we won't be able to do too much out there anyway. McAdams hesitated. Except, what is it? You really suspect Malin Mueller of this? I have no opinions yet. If you really do suspect her, I'll show her the face and see how she reacts. Let's hold off. Her room was ransacked and she seemed pretty shaken. If she was involved with this mess, we'll show her the post-mortem photos as a more opportune time for us. If she wasn't involved, there's no sense giving her nightmares. They'll last a lifetime. As soon as Rosa saw the photos, he turned pale and his hands started shaking. Looks like a grotesque version of Katrina Belfort. The man was ashen. Beads of sweat had congregated on his brow. He wiped his face with a tissue. He wore a dark green sweater and brown corduroy pants. Scuffled penny loafers sat on his feet. He tried to walk, but words caught on his gullet. McAdams said, Do you need some water? No, thank you. Rosa was still trembling. How did this happen? McAdams wasn't sure if Rosa meant what was the method of death or what was the sociological circumstance that led up to the death. In either case, the question was probably rhetorical and didn't require an answer. He pulled up a chair and sat down. How well do you know her? She was a colleague. He took his eyes far away. We didn't socialise outside the department, if that's what you're asking. Whatever spare time I had, I spent with my wife. He wiped his face again. God, this is awful. He regarded McAdams. Was it suicide like Elijah? When unsure how to reply, McAdams answered the question with a question. What makes you think it's suicide? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Was Dr. Belfort close to Eli? Not that I know of. She had been on Eli's thesis committee, but she excused herself due to her commitments. Aldo Farago took her place, but I was his primary advisor. Questioning a person was harder than McAdams had thought. He was used to jumping off Decker's train of thought. Who else was on Eli's committee? There was three of us, Aldo Farago, Lennis Tovar and myself. Lennis Tovis? McAdams hoped he sounded genuinely surprised. He's in the physics department. It isn't a must, obviously, but it looks favourably upon when you round up an outsider professor at for your committee. I guess after Katrina resigned from Eli's committee, he took it upon himself to recruit Tolvard. McAdams paused. I've heard the name before. Razor said nothing and McAdams didn't push it until he had a definite direction. He should stick to what Decker told him to do. Who were Katrina's students? We need to talk to them. I know she's the primary advisor for Malin Mueller. I sent Malin to her because I was too busy. And I was trying to help Katrina build up her research lab, and I thought Malin was a good choice. Did you send her anyone else? Not personally, no. I believe she had 3 students in her lab. Malin, of course, I think Ari Weisberg was also one of her students, although I don't think he was happy with being there. Why not? Her lab was just getting started. If you want to get into a top-tier program, it's better to be in a lab where the professor is tenured. Not that there was anything wrong with Katrina. She was extremely bright. Just untested, I want to say. He said 3 students. Who's the 3rd student? Oh, yes, Damador Batra. He was his first student. They seemed to get along very well, maybe too well. McAdams poked up meaning. He had been seen going in and out of the house during daylight hours, and mind you, but it is unprofessional to hold meetings with your students at your residence. I see, McAdams said. Do you think professionals turn to personal? Nothing to indicate yes or no for that one. Speaking of personal relationships, did Professor Belford have a boyfriend? Not that I know of. Who were her friends? I don't know anything about her social life outside the college, but you know that Dumbledore Butcher came over to her house. It's a small department in a small college. Things get around, but truly I don't know about her social life. At the few department parties we've had, she's had always come alone. McAdams thought a moment. How long has Dr. Belford been with the college? 2 years. We had a search committee for candidates. It does the interviews, but all tenant faculty votes for final confirmation. Who was on search committee for Dr. Belford? I was, as was Aldo Farrago. The third member at that time was Michael Mannix, who has since left for UC San Diego. Can I blame him with these winters? We knew he was leaving. That's why we were searching for someone. We need to fill the void, and Katrina's specialty was similar to Michael's, which was probability theory. Over the course of the year, Katrina's interest had changed to fast, furious transforms, which can relate tangibly to probability theory. Whatever you're working with, the market fluctuations, you're working with probabilities, McAdams said. Fast Fourier transforms deal with fluctuations in the stock market? Potentially, yes. Could you explain what Fourier transform have to do with the stock market? Do you know what Fourier transforms do? They change functions from time to frequency and break down complex waves into simple ones. Very good. Have you ever seen a graph of a stock within a single session of daily trading? The x-axis is time and the y-axis is the price. The stock has a daily high and low, everything between the two numbers. Yeah, it kind of zigzags like a bunch of thunderbolts. Exactly. If you're a day trader, it wouldn't be an advantage to know what kind of waves make up the zigzags. The highs and lows would be characterized by the amplitude of the wave, and the frequency would characterize the space between the amplitude. If the frequency is long and the amplitude is low, the stock is undergoing a lot of change, but a lot of stocks are volatile. If you knew the waves making up the pattern theory, you might be able to predict the stock's next move, either up or down, and that would be tremendously helpful, especially in day trading, where fortunes can be made and lost within seconds. So anything that can give you an edge on where the stock is going will help the bottom line. Theoretically, yes. Okay, was Dr. Belford applying her trade, her theoretical knowledge by day trading in the market? I have no idea, detective. What about Elijah Wolf? Was he doing day trading too? Elijah, Racer made a base. His research didn't reflect any of that nonsense. You think it's nonsense? Day trading is nonsense. It's a fool's game. Glorified gambling. Silently, McAdams agreed with you. When was the last time you saw Dr. Belford? Racer sighed. Sometimes yesterday morning we had been talking about Eli. She was very upset. So upset that I wondered at the time if there wasn't something else going on. Like what? Well, Racer said. But she wasn't the only student seen coming going from Katrina's house. Not that I want to speak ill of the dead, but if you think if it has something to do bearing on what happened to both of them, I feel it incumbent to say something. Do you think she was having an affair with either boy? How should I put this? I pause. After observing Katrina for the past year, well, she liked her admirers. Maths junior department young man. She was a low person in the faculty, but she had her accolades in the classroom. Okay, I'll talk to Batra. Anyone else I should speak with? I said Batra is a good starting point. And the last question, Dr. Rosa, could you tell me where you were between 10 last night and say 3 in the morning? Excuse me? Routine question, sir. I was sleeping. Well, not at 10. I was doing work at home until 1 and then I went to bed. And your wife was with you during that period? She went to bed earlier, around 11. He stared at McAdams. I did not leave my house. You were working on your computer, mostly by hand. My computer was hardly on. Could I take a look at your computer? It might verify your time frame, and if you email something, it could show where geographically you were working. Again, there was silence. Just a peek at your laptop. I work on a desktop, Rosa said. I can come to your house to look at your desktop. McAdams waited. It would help eliminate you as a suspect. This is ridiculous. I could come tonight, get over with. How about if I call you? I'm very busy. Whatever works, McAdams said. I would think you do anything to get out of this mess. I'm not in a mess, detective. You can't seriously suspect that I had anything to do with this ghastly affair. What I think is immaterial. I'm just saying that it's in everyone's interest to cooperate. Rosa said, I'm not hiding anything. I'm just busy. These past years have been horrific. Just give me a chance to settle my department. I'll call you detective. He sounded disingenuous to McAdams' insincerity counter as a lie.